No, what are you pointing at me for?
Why not?
We didn't talk about this. Take two.
Take two. Welcome to the Prof Sales YouTube channel, everyone. I'm Prof Sales.
And I'm not. I'm Kaaren. You can just ask me just about anything. See what I did there?
I see what you did there. That was pretty cool. So this channel is all about reselling and being a business for yourself, an entrepreneur on e-commerce platforms like eBay, Amazon, and so on, and just your mindset as well, and lots of other things.
And today is a show about nothing.
I was actually going to title this a show about nothing, but all the things that came up were Seinfeld related, which if you're Seinfeld fans, you know what that means, a show about nothing. Kaaren has actually never watched Seinfeld. Life fail.
No, just different.
Just different.
Better way to spend my time.
So one of these days we'll have to introduce her to the wonderful world of Seinfeld and all that it encompasses. And Ninja already says nothing is something. That's true. But then again, if that's true, then something is nothing.
I've spent the entire day cleaning shoes.
That's true. I've spent the entire day listing some shoes, researching some shoes, trying to find some inventory that I'm still not even sure quite exactly what happened with this one particular set of shoes I had.
It's the mystery shoe.
Very weird. But we are glad you guys are here today and join us. And we actually were talking about a topic today, and we realized let's just have a chat with everybody about 2018, what eBay is going to be like, what they expect. So the floor is for you guys too. And there's a live chat going on during the show, and people are filtering into that, as well as after the show post, people like to leave questions and comments. So we hope you will do that. And of course, check out the description down below for lots of, it was weird. Yeah, it's down here somewhere for lots of helpful links and so on. So check that out before you leave. But yeah, so we thought we would talk about the state of eBay. Is that the right word?
It's always in flux, I can tell you that.
Kaaren keeps selling things, so she's been pretty happy with eBay.
Although now I have
you got a dilemma.
I have a dilemma, and I think I know how I'm going to handle it. But I wanted to just like change the world because I'm just that kind of great customer service kind of girl, right? But I took an offer. I took a best offer and was waiting for the person to pay. And then they messaged me and say, hey, you're also selling this other thing that I'd really like, but you're selling it with a couple other things. Maybe you could just sell me that one thing, let me know. I don't want to pay that for all the other things, but maybe you could ship this one thing with the one thing. Like, I don't think that he's like out to like do something shady. I just think like, I don't know, where I'm at right now is I'm going to leave it alone and just say, in another time, maybe I could help you, but it would involve me having to stop the listing of the things that are together, take out the one thing that is probably the better of the things, right? And then have to relist and then take that and then list it all by itself, maybe even as a private sale kind of dealio. And I haven't even experimented with any of that stuff yet. So then I'd have to make that, and then he'd have to. So I already took less for the item than I wanted to anyway.
Right.
So now it's the potential for me to make even less on the other item that I would add to that. Now, granted, it won't add a lot to the shipping. It's negligible, if that. I mean, I don't think it would add much weight or cost at all. But that's where I'm at. So if anybody has any idea, you were immediately like, no.
I wouldn't do it, but there might be somebody in the chat or watching afterwards who has a different feel, because I thought the only way you really easily could do it, and it's not that easy, would be to take the listing down for the second item, relist just the one part of that second item, and then let the person buy it like right away and combine the shipping for the two. But it's a lot of trouble, and you don't even know if they'll do it or not. And I don't know. It just, and the two things you had together in the listing aren't probably as strong separately as they are together.
That's why I put them together.
Right. And that was smart. That was the right way to do it. By splitting it, you may never sell the second one.
Arrgh, don't do it, Alex says.
Yeah. I think anytime that eBay buyers, request you to jump through all these hoops, it's usually not worth it.
And I don't think, I still approach it all with positive intent. Like, I don't think, like you even said, that sometimes people try to, I don't know, take advantage of new sellers,
Sure.
or maybe kind of push it a little bit with folks that don't have the history, but they don't know what this seller has in her back pocket, right?
Right. You can't just send somebody something from another listing because they want to buy it, because then you have no protection on the back end, you know, from PayPal and eBay. But anyway,
did anybody say anything else other than
yeah, some people are saying don't pick it. Yeah, cherry picking your lot. Yeah, I mean, don't do it. He's out to make your life miserable. That's what Ed said.
Oh, Ed, I don't think he's really out to make
Probably
my life
not.
miserable. But yeah, so I'll just send him a nice note and say, you know, maybe just keep an eye on it. I'd really like to keep it like it is. Thanks for buying what you did buy, though. Hey, if you go ahead and pay for it, I can ship it.
So some people are talking about eBay already and the state of eBay in 2018. And I think Ed had a comment about that. I probably missed it. Came up there. The state of eBay messed up, but still a good place to sell. Do tell, Ed, what you mean by that.
Be more specific.
Because I feel like in a weird way that 2018 is kind of going to be a turning point for maybe eBay. Amazon has become so dominant in the e-commerce space in so many ways, and they're playing in a lot of sandboxes right now. You know, they bought Whole Foods and so on, that it's kind of curious to see if they will actively go after eBay even more this year, or eBay will try to find its own niche as they've been continuing to do. So I'm kind of curious, you know, and so many of the items on eBay that are being sold are new, which a lot of the people who are in this chat probably and watch the show sell pre-owned items. Because those are items you can find value in, because you can find them cheap and flip them for a good profit on the back end of the transaction. But I'm kind of curious what people's thoughts are about, you know, what will eBay look like even at the end of this year, because I think they really have to evolve. And I think some of their back end analytics, Luke and I were talking about this the other day, their reporting and so on is not consistent across the platform. It makes it very difficult for sellers to come onto eBay and treat it like a professional selling platform when some of the back-end tools and so on are sort of antiquated, don't always line up with each other, don't allow you to figure out what it is exactly you're doing that's working versus what it is you're doing that's not working. And those are things that I think Amazon has got a big lead on eBay in. Plus, there's a lot of third-party apps that work really well with Amazon as well. But that being said, eBay could make those changes and is probably making some of those changes even as we speak. I just think they're playing a little bit of catch-up just in general, not even maybe so much with Amazon, but just technologically. You know, I think technology-wise, they maybe didn't keep up. They put a lot of the onus on the seller and not so much, and they're not have taken some of those things away, you know, on the platform side of it, which they could.
Well, and let's be honest, we were looking for, what were we looking for? Oh, the set your thingy to automatically enter a non-pay case, right?
Yeah, unpaid item assistant.
Yeah, and you really have to look through all, like, I don't think it's very user-friendly.
It's not. You know, if somebody has an unpaid item, for instance, you should be able to click right off of that item and say, hey, try the unpaid item assistant. You know, just little things like that will be helpful just to kind of automate it on the back end. Or like Luke and I were talking about, we were talking about some things with promoted listings. And the promoted listings is really wonky. Like when you want to list your entire store, for instance, you have to download the list in a CSV format, change the promoted percentage off to whatever you want, and then upload it back up. Like that was just so bizarre to me. It's like, that's really weird. I don't really, and maybe there's a simpler way to do it because I haven't used promoted listings a ton, but I thought that was just very wonky and not very user friendly, especially for a billion, you know, multi-billion-dollar corporation like eBay. But that being said, you know, I do love eBay and have for a long time, and this is not to knock them, but I'm kind of curious what they are going to run into this year, how they're going to evolve, and what you guys' thoughts are.
With a name like Dr. eBay, you would expect a comment like eBay rules, right?
Yeah, or maybe he's trying to fix eBay, or she, like or they're the doctor.
Yeah.
They're the doctor of eBay.
I like it. But I mean, we all agree it could be like, especially for a new seller, like we throw around terms and considerations and options and things like whatever, but it doesn't like auto come up. Like if I didn't know ahead of time that you can open an unpaid item case, right? If you're a new seller, like I know that you can do that, but it doesn't, like on the mobile app, it doesn't pop up, and it surely doesn't pop up instantly to say, you know, it's not like they're looking out for you to say, hey, this person didn't pay for their stuff. Why don't you send them a, you know, like
Right.
it gives you the option to send them a note, like remind the buyer, and then it has mark as paid, mark as shipped, whatever. But it doesn't, like, there's no follow-up. There's no, like, how would you know that you need to, that you even have that option? Like people could be sitting on waiting for somebody to pay. Not that you would, but people will be just waiting when they don't have to.
Right. Absolutely.
And just for the record, my other item, you know, not a fan of this taking an offer stuff so far, but my other item that I did follow through and went through the eBay channels to file the unpaid item case, nothing has come of that. Like it's still sitting there. Like there's been no eBay follow-up. There's no.
You may need to call at this point, unfortunately.
Am I even allowed to call as just me?
Yes. You can absolutely call. Kelly says, I want to start selling on Amazon. I think there's money there. I want some of it for sure. I mean, Amazon,
Kelly, yeah.
Kelly McNutch, for sure. There's a lot of money on Amazon. It's a different animal. It's evolving too. Unfortunately, I think Amazon, even more so than eBay, is maybe pushing out the third-party seller in a lot of ways. Now, that just comes in the form of restrictions on certain brands and categories being gated and getting hard to ungated, but there's still obviously a lot of opportunity there. Quad Crazy says eBay is better than ever for me lately. Well, awesome. That's pretty cool to hear. Connie's annoyed with eBay right now because the customer service team, and she puts that in parentheses, or in quotes. Yeah, actually not parentheses. Team does not know as much about eBay as the average man on the street who has never sold on eBay.
Yeah, I mean, it really, isn't it like any other 800 number that you call? It really depends on who answers on the other end. Because sometimes we hear that people get just stellar service above and beyond. And then we hear things like Connie says that it's just like, they even give them, like I've heard people come back and say they've been given false information.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Kelly says she was selling 75 items a day 10 years ago, and now she's lucky to get 10 or 12. Yeah, and that's for sure true, Kelly. I mean, there's more competition in the e-commerce platform market, period. I mean, 10 years ago, Amazon wasn't as large. There were, you know, I don't even know about Poshmark and Etsy and Bonanza and Mercari. Some of these were much smaller, if they even existed. So I think it's just a little bit more competition. It's got a little more diluted. Does offering free shipping increase sales? I've never seen any convincing evidence that it does, Rex. I don't know. It's hard to know. It's hard to know. Like, we don't have a big enough data set to really know that. There's anecdotal evidence on either side. You know, you can find people who swear that it does, and you can find other people who swear that it doesn't. But I think in terms of somebody bringing out, you know, like a big data set of listings and saying, here's 2 million listings with free shipping, and here's 2 million listings without free shipping, and here's what they did over the course of a year in terms of sell through. And, you know, I don't know if that data exists. So if it did, you could point to it and say, yep, it does or it doesn't. eBay, I'm sure knows. They want to push free shipping, but they want to push it because they think it's better for buyers. I don't know that it really affects sell-through or not. That part, they claim that it does, but does it affect enough versus, you know, inevitably when you get a return back and you've already paid for one shipping, and I don't know. Alex wants them to slow down, better examine beta testing and not rush to be Amazon. For sure. Promotions, promoted listings did feel a little rushed. Like the reporting died there right at the beginning for like a month. There was no reporting or something like that, for sure.
Hey, cheers to Wes going on vacation. Oh, wait, if you're going to Puerto Rico, I would guess it's not vacation. You going to do some good work down there, my friend?
Nice. Let's see. I had a customer open a return yesterday. I accepted. They claimed it wasn't what it was, and clearly in the picture, a sealed, unopened package, it said it was. Well, I mean, you resolved it without eBay having to get in, so it's not going to hurt you. Just a return. It stinks. Hopefully they didn't open it. But if they open it, that kind of creates another problem. But you can take that up with eBay after that. You may or may not win that. Less than 5 minutes later, less than 5 minutes later, they close a return. So maybe it was a mistake. Maybe I've had buyers who've went to return something to me and they'll say something about it in a comment. I'm like, that is not even the item that I sold them. And then they realize, that I clicked on the wrong purchase. So it does happen.
But we've also gotten a couple of returns that weren't ours. Like that's happened
Oh
more than
yeah.
once.
Yeah.
Like people return things that we never know.
Yeah, they meant to return another item to another seller, and they return it, but they bought something for me, and they return it to me, and then I'm like, what do I do with this? And every time they've said just keep it. So I've kept it and sold it.
Well, and actually the one lady said to donate it, right? Because that's what we usually do when we do a return, and we suggest they donate it. But she was like, yeah, why don't you donate it to somebody that can use it? It was sweet. Yeah. The guys are going back. It's just funny. Yeah. No. Corners and working and all that stuff.
Okay, I will stay off your corner.
Everybody drink.
Kelly's doing more wholesale sales, having fun with that. Love selling large lots. Yeah, there's a great point to that, Kelly. It's like it comes down to a time equation, right? Like how much time do you have to put in all these individual items, like on eBay? Like is eBay? That's another area too that I think eBay could make selling a little simpler for people who have multiple quantities. I find like the quantity and listing and variations, it's wonky. Like it's wonky, especially when it relist. So that's something where I think they can improve on for sure. I don't know if they will or not though, because I don't know how many buyers or sellers come to the platform with multiple items. Like they've got 10 pair of this sock and 10 pair of that sock. But I find that part of listing, I haven't done a lot of it, not that great.
Well, doesn't it look as if it was totally like an afterthought? Like the way it even pops up on the screen, like some of that stuff that you choose, it even like is different. Like it doesn't fit. It's like they put a sticker on top of it.
Yeah, and I think maybe part of the issue is, and I'm not privy obviously to eBay internal memos, but
you're not.
Well, not for a couple years now, but I think maybe what happened was that they cobbled together this computer system to handle, their back end, their IT, to handle listings and transactions. And now they're in a position where you've kind of cobbled it all together over all these years, but technology's changed so much that you really kind of need a wholesale renovation. But you're talking millions and millions of dollars. I mean, that would not be cheap to do. And it would certainly have glitches and problems to work through that would take like a couple years or more. But we'll see if they do something like that. That would be kind of interesting if they went and did like a wholesale, change. I mean, they have changed some things, like the seller hub came and it was different. But again, if your back end data collection is sort of wonky, you can only do so much with how you display it. And I think that's what's going on with them. But I don't know.
Jacqueline likes your wonky word.
Wonky's a good word. How do I do a return from the corner?
Are we still talking about the corner?
Oh, man. That's pretty funny.
When moments like this happen, I'm just going to drink.
Kelly switched labels on 2 packages last week. It was a mess. Happy customers in the end, but got to be more careful. Yeah, I did that once, and one of the items went to Germany, which really sucked.
Winning.
That was a while back. That was probably a couple years ago. But I still remember that when I was like, how did I screw this one up? Of all the ones to mess up, the one that was completely ridiculous. I don't remember how I resolved it. Obviously, I took care of the buyers, but because it was totally my fault. It wasn't their fault. I just switched two together. And
you'd never get the thing that went to Germany back.
Oh, no, because it probably was a pair of jeans. It was expensive to send it there, right? I mean, they were mad because I got the wrong jeans. I had to refund their shipping and everything. Well, they weren't mad, but they just, let's see what else we got here. You guys have got lots of great stuff in the chat.
I can answer Sassy Seller. Can I?
Yeah, of course.
So on March 10th, we typically start at 9 a.m. sharp and go until 5 p.m. We have a lunch scheduled in between.
5 p.m. dull.
What? And then, yes, Sunday is an option. And we're also getting together Friday for a little informal at the hotel. So
yeah,
there's that.
Yes.
Who is Sassy? I'll have to look.
I don't know.
Okay.
But yes, March 10th, we're having a meetup in Durham?
Durham, North Carolina.
Durham, North Kakalaka. For all those you not from North Carolina, you may not know what that means, but it just means Carolina. So it should be fun. We'll do some, we're going to go to some places we've never gone before.
Oh, there's Paul. Hey,
So
Paul.
Paul's going to be there.
We can't wait to see you, meet you, other than this virtual stuff. What?
Prof, that may be part of the new Alden thing, because you're right. It would be a massive undertaking to redo the back end, but probably a necessary evil for evolution. Yeah, the new payment processor is coming on. We talked about that the last show, or maybe it's 2 shows ago. I can't remember. But yeah, eBay is going to move away from relying on PayPal so much and do their own in-house payment processing with an assistance from a third-party company, obviously, which I think will be good. You know, that's my overall feeling towards it. But we'll see. I mean, that's still going to be played out over the next couple of years or so. Red Nickerson said, in all seriousness, that's why I pack and label one at a time. Yeah, I do the same thing, but I still screwed up those 2, dude. I don't remember how I did it. It was really weird. I think they literally got the same pair of jeans, or not the same pair, but like the same brand and fit, but the size was different maybe. I don't know. So it wouldn't have worked.
Wasn't that about the time that you put me in charge of shipping?
Yeah, I put you in charge and you sent them to Germany. No, I'm just kidding.
No, after that. That's what I meant. Like after that. Because I have a system, right? Everything gets lined out in a row. The product goes, the PFREs go, and then we do the labels and then we tag them. Yeah, it was just a weird. I think you were probably in a rush.
Flipper Joe said North Carolina is Duke country. You know, Flipper Joe and Charlotte, I think there'd be a lot of people who would not agree with you. But I don't like either one of them. I like Virginia, and we've beat both of you. So.
Oh, boy.
Deal.
Here we go.
But anyway.
And we're actually talking about, we might go to the, like, when they make the playoffs, right? Like, isn't that what
the tournament? Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about going to one of those block. Is it called a block or a pod or a
The
gaggle?
first round game.
We're going to go to the first gaggle of games, where we get to see 4 of them.
3 games.
3 games.
4 teams. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see. That's coming up we'll see if they end up here. They might not.
Joe's so funny.
Joe wants to fight.
No, it's tea. I promise. We drink tea. It's just tea.
Yeah. Ninja says the only thing I don't like about the new Adyen financing end is they are a private company, no stock ownership there. Well, I mean, you know, there's plenty of private companies out there that do it quite well, though. So I don't know. It just creates a different way of running your business. Let's see. Anyone going to the KC FAM event? We are not. We probably only are going on one other out-of-state trip this year, and there was no way just to swing yet even another one.
Well, one that we pay for anyway, right? Like.
Yeah. Yes.
Like we have some
paid event, right?
Yeah, we have like some other meetups coming up. We're going to do another Charlotte one, an Asheville one. We're talking about a Virginia one, but like events like that, no.
Oh, that's what Cindy just asked about. Do you have other areas scheduled for a meetup?
Yes, another Charlotte one, Asheville, Virginia. We're actually talking about trying to go down to Atlanta once we. In fact, I think on the Facebook I have it listed out, like the proposed cities and stuff. But we're talking about going south a little bit, like to Atlanta. But the problem is their goodwill prices are very high. Their tax rate, and their tax rate is also very high. So what we're talking to a couple of our friends down there to kind of plan a trip down there that's maybe a little diversified. Like this Durham trip, for example, was until a couple of days ago goodwill free. Like it was really cool. But we're going to go to one because it'll give some people that are coming in from out of town an idea of the GCFs, which is a different animal than we're used to here. It's a Goodwill Charitable Foundation, I think is what it's called.
Charitable, something like that.
But they, up there anyway, there's no sales tax, which here we have. It's like what, 7.5%?
Yeah, 7.25.
It's 2.5, not 7.5. Okay, so we have sales tax, and up there it's cash or check only, no cards. And the prices for clothing, jeans in particular, shoes, are less than they are here.
Right.
So for folks that are used to maybe something a little different, that'll be a good experience as well.
Yeah. I mean, the price of where you're sourcing it does determine whether or not you buy things in certain cases, especially if you're buying a lot of commodity type items like clothing. So I would never, but we got to hit Atlanta because Atlanta's got to have some hidden treasures.
Well, look who just said, Mark, who we're friends with, says, there you go. All right, Mark, you get to be the chairperson for the one in Atlanta. I nominate you. So there you go. And hey, I couldn't help but see what David Graham just wrote. You guys have something in common.
Oh, he was a manager at Kmart for 5 years. Yeah, I only lasted a year and a half before I started working for Gap, but that was enough. It was enough, trust me. Do you have a timeline of what needs to sell at a certain time before you redonate it, or does it all depend on the items you pick up? Interesting. You were talking about that. So here's something else for eBay 2018. I'm going to try to be better about is tweaking my listings. So today, for instance, I went in and I realized I had over 500 listings that were good till cancel. And these were basically items that had dropped kind of like the lowest price point, or maybe they just weren't a real high price point to start with. And instead of fooling with them every month, I just set them up as GTC and whatever. So today I went in and I took 200 of them. That's the most you can bulk edit at once, I believe. And I ended them. I ended the listings. I let it set for about 10 minutes. Honestly, I really did. And then I relisted them all as 30-day buy nows. And I changed some pricing on some of them too. I didn't change the pricing on all of them because for all those, I don't know if you guys are running this, but if you go to that bulk edit screen, you're trying to edit like a lot of listings, say like 50 or more at a time. Sometimes it won't load all of them. When you scroll down, a bunch of them will just be kind of spinning, and then it'll jump down like 20 or 30 listings. You got to go back up and find where you were. It's really super annoying. So after a while, I'd probably change prices on maybe 50 of them, and just put them up as a good till or put them up as a buy it now for 30 days. And we'll see if that kind of, stokes the eBay algorithms. Who knows? But I'm going to try to do a better job about that this year. So we do let things, we'll hold on to things for a while, as long as we have space. I mean, if I'm going to get rid of them on the back end, I want to get something out of them. Like, I don't want to just, even donating them makes me upset on some level, even though there's a tax write-off, because it just feels like you just spent that money for nothing. And you've put in that time and energy and you get nothing back out of it. Like, it's a total loss at that point. So we try to get something out of it.
Well, and you know what I noticed, again, unrelated to anything that you just said, but I set up my own, like I use his spreadsheet, or I'm trying to, but for my, 10 thingies, right? So I have my own little list, and they're selling, and I don't mean this to be cheeky, but they're selling before I can even put them in inventory. It's like I'll set them on deck to put them away, and then they sell. So there's that. But I remember how you said that when you were doing your numbers for the end of the year, how you didn't count the shipping and your your numbers were up.
Yeah.
So I kind of did the same thing. Like, I didn't, for items that I've shipped and I charge shipping, I wasn't adding the income for that on my numbers. So it was actually subtracting more. So my net was lower. I was a little bummed. So I bumped my net up a great deal because I actually added the actual shipping to about over half of them. So always, like, if you're going to go by eBay's numbers, make sure you understand what you're looking at. And if it does include shipping and fees, which includes eBay fees plus PayPal fees, and then there's the shipping, and then be sure you add it in to subtract it again, if that makes sense.
Yep, it does. Mandy puts the date list in the custom label field so I can sort and fix anything old. Yep, that's one way to do it.
Oh, I know one. Somebody, a couple of our friends will change the cents, right? So it starts out at $11.99.
Right. I've done that. Yep.
And then the first cycle it go to 98, 97, right? And then they know when it gets to 90 or whatever their magic number is, when it gets to say 0, which means it would have run 10 cycles, right? Then they blow it out, or they do something, or they don't, you know what I mean? So that's their system. And that makes sense too. I think that's an easy
That way you can look at the price really quick and see, you can sort and say, hey, show me all the ones with a 95-cent price. And you've had those for like 5-6 months. So yeah, I mean, there's all different ways to do it. And I'm curious too, what you guys think will be the same for you this year on eBay. Like what will you continue doing? What will not change? You know, maybe specific, maybe generally, maybe specifically. I know for us, we are absolutely diversifying into some other avenues of sourcing, which is going to kind of change everything, I have a feeling. But doesn't mean we're going to quit doing what we have been doing, but we will also be adding some things that will, you know, we started doing some last year, but probably didn't go as far with it as we could. But now it's like I see that, you know, there has to be some diversification. Because eBay, you know, we don't know what's going to happen this year or next year and so on. And you don't want to get to the end of one of these years or in the middle of one of these years, and all of a sudden, you know, you're selling on a platform that no longer makes sense for you. And I worry about that. I worry about that with eBay. I worry about with Amazon. I worry about with any of them.
Anything where
it can happen.
where you're relying on anybody else. And actually with eBay, you're kind of relying on everybody else other than what you put into it.
Right.
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 All you can do is do your best, put it out there. And then.
Yeah. And it's like you own your results, but you don't control your results.
Exactly. Yep. That's good.
And that's very hard for a lot of people to accept, because you can put all that time and energy in and not get out the results you thought.
Right. And we're, with you being sick last weekend, we had to postpone a trip. So now we're going out of town, and we'll be able to hopefully pull the trigger on a thing or two with regard to that warehouse. So
yep,
that'll be another good thing for us to get busy with. But we should be back to the warehouse with something probably by next week.
Oh, right? Yeah. We didn't get a lot done with it last week, but there was nothing really to do with it. So.
Well, it's a lot emptier.
But we have it set. That's right. That we did do. We got a lot of it emptied. Reinvesting my cash in the business will not change. I mean, that's always smart. That's the quickest way to grow Ninja, is if you can reinvest, you know, all or a big chunk of your cash right back in. Let's see. We'll continue to list medium mail or first class items, Diana says. That makes sense, because those are very cheap to ship. You know, and people think when it's medium mail or first class that it can't be worth something. I mean, there's plenty of things that would go in medium mail. There's DVDs, for instance, that sell for a lot of money. There's, you know, some books that would sell for a lot. First class is anything up to £1. And there's lots of things that weigh that amount or less, you know, that could sell for quite a bit. So that's smart.
Well, and Rex, yes, sorry that we didn't, or somebody didn't answer. But yes, that's part of the dropping it by penny. Is it also, there's a school of thought that thinks that any tweak to the listing, a word or spelling change or a price change, will help bump it as well. So in changing that penny, it's also, the thought is that it will also bump it back up somewhere.
Yeah, the idea being that eBay has to sort of re-index that listing to get the new price, and it may push you in search. It may not. I don't know that anybody knows. Luke and I were talking about that today. It said, you know, with all this stuff, you don't really ever know exactly what works and what doesn't. It's very anecdotal. It's just, you know, relative to you. And you can do one thing, but it's hard to do a bunch of other things all at the same time. So it's just kind of your best guess sometimes.
Right. And some questions have come up with as far as diversifying what we do. We've talked about Etsy. That's on my list. And I don't know if the question about Shopify was for us. That's also on the list. I mean, we've got a lot of print on demand options in addition to merch that we're sort of dabbling in as well. Because again, that's passive income. It's another set it and forget it kind of thing. Yeah. And it's funny, but we were going to do the show today. When we talked about doing a show about nothing, is we were going to talk about, you know, what sort of, what
side hustles?
Yeah, side hustles. And that, I wish you guys could have been there for that conversation.
It was an interesting conversation. It was good.
It's like, wait, so if we're going to talk about side hustles, then you got to have a main hustle, right? And so then we got into this big debate about
what's a side hustle, what's a main hustle, and I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's pretty funny. Sue Redmond. Hey, Sue, how are you doing? Says flexibility is the key. Yes, agree. Niches are great, and you have to have some flexibility when you realize there's other niches that might work better for you.
So, Sue, the money tree is still alive. I'm happy to say. Speaking of flexibility, it has nothing to do with
Sue
flexibility.
gave us a money tree.
But Sue gave us a money tree.
It has not produced any money yet.
Sure, it has. Shh.
You've been taking the money?
In the figurative sense, it's not, the money tree does not sprout forth the monies. That's not, Sue, help me out. That's just not how it works, right? Oy.
What's up, Steve? Raiken Profit. There's our buddy.
Oh, hey, Steve.
Smash the like button. That's where you got it from, right? But she does the pirate version of it. So.
Yeah, he doesn't do a pirate version. And he doesn't have, as I have my glasses on, a heart-shaped eye patch made to his either.
It's like the eye patch is pretty tough because it's from a pirate, but when it's heart-shaped, it's kind of like it takes some of the edge off. I'm just saying.
Is that a bad thing?
No, it's not a bad thing, but it just doesn't look as...
So you know what this means, don't you? I'm so getting you like a regular pirate patch, and we're going to vote.
Oh, wow. You'll win.
Because everybody knows how Jason likes to dress up.
KJ's mixing in yard sales and church sales when things get slow. That's cool. That makes sense.
Wait, there's
absolutely.
a KJ?
Yeah, right there, KJ Carter.
Those are my initials. Just fun fact.
Oh. Really uncertain for Gail. Only a few sales I've had after major markdown. Sourcing doesn't feel right. Sending a lot to Posh. Crossing fingers. Hey, I mean, you're doing something though. You know, you're taking action, and that's better than not taking action usually, unless you just go off in a weird direction that doesn't make any sense. But Kaarens is recycling everything back in the business. Great way to grow it. It's
great way to do it.
Yeah, because if you don't do that, you're always starving the business for capital.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things we find, you know, using a business to support our lifestyle, you know, you're always taking money out, and it does kind of suck because it doesn't allow you to grow the same way as if you can put it all back in.
Yeah, we talk about that so many times. You know, you have to have discipline. The money that you make, if you're going to continue to do the things you do, has got to be put back into your hustle, whatever it is, because you're not going to be able to buy more things and sell more things if you don't reinvest them. Like, how many times do we talk about as you're, you know, as you're out and about, you're not keeping track of, you know, the money. Let's say you have your PayPal credit card and you go and you take your lunch, take yourself to lunch every day, or the business buys your dry cleaning or puts, you know, gas in the car, right? Business expense. But do you know what I mean? Like, there's so many temptations to spend this money on things. Like you were talking today about, and I don't know if you want to even talk about it, but your 401k plan, right? Like that's perfect segue.
Yep. Did you want me to talk about that?
Do you want to talk about it?
I don't know. It has nothing to do with the topic, but whatever.
No, but it's about discipline. It's about having a plan for your money and having discipline where you're going to put it and what you're going to do with it.
Yeah. One of the things, if you're self-employed, and again, talk to your accountant, your tax professional, but one of the things you can do in some cases is you can set up a 401k, even if you're self-employed. And if you work for your company, if you're an employee of your own company, you can match, you know, you can have your company match your contributions, and that lowers your company's, that can lower your company's tax liability and your liability, which is beautiful because then you both get the advantage of, you know, potentially having a lower tax rate or tax bill. And of course you get to, you know, build up your investment in a 401k retirement plan. So little tip there. And it's, you know, again, check with your professional on that just to make sure you're doing everything on the straight and narrow there. But it's not like you're, you know, I mean, there are things out there for people. We think you can only work for another company and get all these certain things, and that's not the case. Steve says we should private label Prof Sales pirate brand. I think it would have to be a Kaaren pirate brand.
Yeah, Steve, see, Jason would have to subscribe to the whole piratology, and we're not quite there
I don't even know what that means.
Alex
all I can think about when you say that is that, remember that show we used to watch, Bar Rescue, where they had the pirate themed bar, and they took it over and they made all the changes, and then the bar changed it all back and burned down the sign that the guy had put there for the makeover.
That's where you go?
I'm weird. Let's see. You guys need to send Raiken a pirate patch. Done. Eye patch with a P for Prof.
I got a heart-shaped patch just for Steve.
It could be a P-shaped. Oh, that'd be kind of cool.
Do that again. That was really funny.
I don't know what I did there. Have you guys been using Morning Fame? Not yet. I know of what you speak. But I'm definitely interested in maybe checking it out. We can talk 401k all day. Yeah.
Well, and Ninja's talked about that before. Like when we were talking about, I remember you brought up the Roth and we had a conversation. This was a long time ago though.
Yeah, and I hear what you're saying. There's different. We're not going to get in a big investment talk on today's show, but that might be a good topic for, like, you know, sort of that back end stuff for resellers in general. That might be a good topic to talk about because, you know, here you are selling. Maybe you're part time, maybe you're full time, and you make this money. You know, hopefully you've got this profit sitting there. What do you do with it? You know, how do you use it to put it to work for you? And there are ways to do that. If you make too much money, you'll have to invest via SEP versus a SEP IRA. Yeah, actually, you can invest like 50-some thousand, I think, in a 401k. So it's quite a bit, and the company can match that amount, so it's over 100. But don't take that as a gospel. I'm not an investment advisor.
Ed, I would love to go, but then I'd have to get to Wisconsin in June. I don't know if I can swing that.
You got a bunch of trips coming up. Karen's going everywhere.
Well, you know, I got people to see and stuff. We're going somewhere this weekend.
We're going somewhere this weekend.
I have family in Florida. I'm going to go see them. And then I'm going to go to New Hampshire.
There you go. Let's see what else we got here.
And Wisconsin. Apparently, I'm going to Port Washington, Wisconsin.
Can't Stop Saving. Saw that pirate episode too. Ha! Thank you, Can't Stop Saving. Thumbs up to you if you have a channel. I don't know. That was very strange. Sorry, I was moderating. So trying to read through some of these.
Crickets. And then it gets quiet.
Side hustle your profit into another side hustle. Yeah, I really want to do a show about side hustles because, and I know for a lot of people that reselling might be your side hustle. And it probably is for a lot of people. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I told Kaaren, I said, you know, a lot of people today, I mean, we tend to think you have to have this job that supplies like everything. And then you have these side hustles, maybe when there's a little slack to take up. And that could be the case. But I think you can kind of put side hustles all together to make it worth more than a job. And I know there's some people in the reselling world who do just that. Like reselling is part of it, but it's not the only part of it. And that's kind of what we've started going down that road as well, because you never know when something is going to not be so great for you anymore. So you might as well diversify out so that, you know, you don't have all your eggs in one basket. Let's see what else we got here. Steve wants me to give him legal advice.
All right, we'll send you.
Okay, legally, I can give you legal information. I cannot give you legal advice, and that's a bit of legal information I just gave you.
We'll send you a PayPal invoice. Is that how that works?
Nice. Does eBay let you open 2 stores in the same name? Yeah, like you can have 2 separate stores. I'm not sure what you mean by the same name. Like they would be called the same thing?
I think maybe she means like you can have more than one store under the same account, and that you can, but you can't have 2 accounts with the same name. For sure. But they like you if they like you to list different things in them, only because they don't want you to be trying to get around the listing limitation cap if you have, you know, like if you're at that number. So just be a little cautious of that. Be a little cautious of listing, you know, all the same thing in both. Plus, I don't know why you would do that anyway. Like, why not just have one store if you're going to do that anyway? I don't know what you really gain by it, but maybe there's a reason. I don't know. Let's see. Aw, Steve's getting some razzing down there.
Alex has got a good comment here. He says, for me, the pirate lifestyle, save money, make money, coupon, grow treasure, and search for deals, and learn to maximize fun time on a budget, i.e. camping, kayak, and minimize the useless. About sums it up, I think.
Yeah, this is my year of minimalism. Working on that, better and minimize. Those are the 2 biggies for me.
Yes, absolutely. So, you know, I think that, you know, building this lifestyle around eBay, if that's your main hustle, or if that is your side hustle, is definitely doable. And I think that a lot of people have proven that over and over. And I think in 2018 it's continued to be. but I do believe there's going to be some evolution this year for eBay. I think they're getting a lot of pressure to evolve. And I think the PayPal, and I think it's a good thing. I think the PayPal thing and changing the payment processor later this year is one of those changes, but I don't think it's going to be the only one. So I would be really prepared for it to be different by December 31st than it is here in February, significantly. We'll see. But I'm ready for it. I'm kind of, looking forward to it in a weird way.
Well, it's good to be able to look forward to something, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, why do you not want to? Change is a good thing overall. I mean, it keeps it interesting. How do you store your inventory? Always bagged or in bins?
Oh, Mandy, how much time do you have?
Oh, it's pretty simple. They're not bagged.
No, we don't bag, no.
And they're not really in bins either.
No, we use shelves.
Yep, shelves, and they sit out. Jeans will sit 7 to a stack quite nicely. Shoes on the shoe racks, which you can find in the description below. And that's it.
With the warehouse and how we're going to be potentially changing some of the way we stack and rack, we've talked about packaging or bins or things, but we have to be very conscious of moisture. So we're just not comfortable of totally bagging and closing something in because we don't want to develop mold or some sort of other kind of problem. So that might, never say never, but that might evolve as we get into the warehouseness of 2018.
Yeah. Jim asked, did you and Luke complete your experiment regarding listing the highest prices? We did not. Luke fell off. He's such a slacker.
And of course he's not. Is he here?
I don't know if he's listening or not, but I'm just messing with him. No,
awesome.
We didn't because I don't really know the reason we didn't. Actually, we started keeping a Google document. And then for whatever reason, we quit updating it. There was something that kind of happened right around that time that affected it. I really don't remember what it is.
LOL, oops. That's awesome. Are our jeans by number or size?
In inventory, they're by SKU number.
Yeah, by SKU number. Plate, location, and item number. Together.
Size would be no.
Yeah, we talked about shelving with makes and models at one point.
Yeah.
But the randomness of it is actually easier.
Couldn't figure out a way to make it work. Just could not figure out a way to make it work without constantly moving things. I'm going to tell you something, guys. I've said this a million times. I'm going to say it again. Don't move your inventory around. The more you move your inventory, the more mistakes you're going to make. I promise you, because you're touching it again. You're going to drop things. You're going to break things. You're going to put things in the wrong spot. Labels are going to fall off. All kinds of things can happen when you move your inventory around. So the less you can move it, plus it's not very time effective. You got to keep moving inventory. And you're not selling it. So any system you come up with, try to make it so that you move your inventory as little as possible. Preferably once in inventory and once out the door.
Well, we even at one point, do you remember when we had like the 300 plus jeans, when we did that one trip, that big trip?
Yeah.
I even processed, like, I don't know why I did it this way, but I had like a stack of Levi's and then a stack of 7 FAMs, and that even got confusing. Like you were frustrated with me for that. But so we kind of, because it got to the point where it's like they're the same.
They look the same.
They look
the problem.
Yeah. So the random is actually good.
Yeah. It would be like trying to organize DVDs without the cases. Well, I'm just going to put a big stack over there alphabetically. Oh, it'd be brutal. A lot easier with the case, because the cases all look a little different. They have the title right on it. But the CD, you'd have to pick it up and look at it.
And Tiaz says exactly what we say all the time. Every time you touch it, you're losing money, period.
Yeah, because you're losing time and you're not gaining revenue.
Yep, we talk about that all the time. Agreed.
Absolutely.
Well done, sir.
Will we have to open an Adyen account to accept payment from them? Don't know, Chris. That's a good question. I tend to think no, but I could be wrong because it sounds like to me they're integrating with eBay on the platform. And the idea is that your payments stay in one place on the platform. Like you get paid and it's there, and you don't have to go over to PayPal to get money. It's right there for you. You can send right from eBay's, I would think, that you could send right from their app and their software to, your checking account or your bank account, whatever you have, or even your PayPal account.
But they would have to know it, right?
Yeah, well, that's no problem.
So yeah, you might have to do something, because right now when you sign up, all of that banking routing information goes through the PayPal thing, and you link your PayPal to it. So there's got to be something.
And PayPal asks for all your information. I mean, it asks for your checking and routing and all the ID and all that good stuff too. I mean, that's just part of the world we live in. But I think that it's going to be simpler. I mean, I think that's the key. And eBay being able to probably on the back end quit loop. eBay will make some money on it because they'll get some of those processing fees that were currently going to PayPal. And, you think 2.9%, 75% plus 30 cents. That adds up when you got millions of transactions. So,
am I reading that out of context? Chris says, so the money will go into your PayPal account. I don't know if I read that like in the right order, but that's funny if you meant to be funny.
I think you could do that if you wanted to, I would imagine. But I think probably what will happen is you'll be able to put your checking account. You'll be able to put your checking account info right into eBay, into this new payment system, and that when you get paid, and maybe you can set it up to do regular payments, just like you do with, like with PayPal right now. The money goes there, but then you have to set up on the back end. All right, I've got an invoice with eBay. Do I want to pay it? Do I want to do it automatically? I set up to do automatically because I don't want to fool with it. I think having that all in one place on eBay's platform actually simplifies a lot of things. You can see, you should theoretically be able to see every transaction when it happens. Or now, if you really want to see the transaction, you can go to the transaction detail on eBay, but then you have to click to go over to your PayPal account to see exactly what happened in PayPal. Like, it's an extra step that doesn't need to be there.
It's wonky, and we're all hoping that that's gonna streamline some of that and make it more as they intermediate.
Yeah, that's what they said. Intermediating message or payment process. I'm like, what in the world?
And KJ is making their money work all the time. I love it. What about what Ninja said? So now eBay will get an interest-free loan while holding our money on their platform, ?
Where do you see that?
Right there.
While holding up. No more so than your bank does. No more so than PayPal does. I mean, you're talking about float. You're talking about the time between when you have money in a payment, when you have money in a bank. I mean, PayPal essentially operates like a bank, very similar. It's not a bank, but it's similar. You have money there, and then when you request that money to come out electronically, there's a period between when you request it and when you get it. And during that period of time, they've still got your money, and they can invest that money and earn interest on it, on the back end. Sure. It's float. I mean, that's a common term in economics, and banks do it. I mean, financial institutions do it. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, what's the alternative? I mean, have the seller send you the money directly? I mean, are you really going to want to have to chase down hundreds and hundreds of sellers every year for money? A lot simpler if there's a system set up on the front end where the money goes, into that system when the person pays, and then you pull it back out. Like, I'm okay with that. I don't think that's a big deal.
Adam, you just took the words right out of my mouth. Duncan, good morning. Welcome to the party now that it's almost over. But we slept in too, so every now and then you got to. And yeah, for Adam, go Eagles, right? Hey, one benefit to cleaning shoes. Sometimes you get to keep them.
Sometimes. She's always like, lucky for you, these aren't my size.
So
how many times have you said that?
So Merrill and Keen are like my favorite brands. And I have another one, but these are mainly, right? And I have been looking for Merrills that'll fit me, and these don't exactly fit me, whatever. But so this is what was wrong with them. I'm not even going to bother to glue it. So on both shoes, the toe is starting to come up. And so I defected them. And I've got my eye on a pair of Keen hiking boots too, so I'll let you guys know if I score there too. But new shoes for me.
The real reason Kaaren likes to go sourcing is she gets stuff for her.
But we're at a point where the shoes just sort of stack up, and then you don't have patience for it, and I do. So there's that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but it's gonna be interesting. We'll take care of that. Let's see.
Or the next one.
Yeah. So we will, I'm kind of curious what this year is going to be like. And because I think 2018, like I said, it's going to be a watershed year for eBay. I have a feeling, and it's exciting to see what's gonna come this year. Hope you guys are really looking forward to it too, because like I said, I think change is good. It's evolution. It requires you to evolve, and that's kind of what being a smart business person is about. You have to evolve with the landscape.
Sorry, Piratitude. I like it.
Piratitude is a natural attitude that comes from being like, this show is like, how is this show so much about pirates all of a sudden? I don't understand this.
We're like the Robin Hood pirates, though. Like, we're not really bad pirates.
No, we're
by
not.
definition, we're good pirates. Unicorns and rainbow pirates.
We're like Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean. He wasn't really that good. Didn't he kill people?
No.
I feel like they did.
Smiled and lied.
All right. So, sounds like Jake's going to have a higher than normal defect percentage. Yes.
No more than normal. And no, I actually haven't gotten shoes. I haven't acquired shoes in a long time. And these just, they spoke to me.
Because they fit and she liked them. All right. So that's going to do it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the show. What should they do if they did like it, Kaaren?
Smash the like button, mateys.
She had to give you the pie on that one.
And hey, Deb, prayers for your dad. Sorry.
Hi. Oh, absolutely. We just saw that, right? Came in here right at the end. Hope he has a full recovery. So anyway, it's going to be a fun year, and we're going to be here with you guys along for the ride. We'll be back in a couple days, no doubt. And we'll be preparing to finally go out of town this time, we hope.
We'll see if those ears are going to make it.
But check out the description down below, guys, for all kinds of helpful stuff and links. And we appreciate you guys, and hope you have an awesome rest of your day.
Yes, we'll see you in a couple days. Keep on hustling and keep on killing it, folks.
Yeah.
And as always, this is Just Ask Kaaren.
Prof Sales.
Saying good sales to you.